G'day, welcome back to Short Shift Garage, and in this video I keep assembling my Ford 4-litre single overhead cam motor, and the aim is to get this thing back into the SOHC Falcon ute. Woo! I'm going to go through and do now is just replace these Welsh plugs. I have already knocked a couple out because I end up just flushing the galleries out, so I've just got 2 more to knock out. This one looks like it's been replaced at some stage. So I'm just going to go and just use a hammer and a screwdriver and hit the bottom side in. They tend to break a little bit on the edge, so you try and get the lip. You don't want to scratch into the bore, because obviously you're going to put another one in there, so you don't want to damage that. And just tap it. Once you're through, just pry it up. And I just grab some multi-grips and pull it out like that. Corrosion on the back of these ones, so that's why we'll replace them. Obviously this one's let go at some stage and someone's replaced it. So I'll go through now, I'll knock this one out. I'll quickly just get a bit of emery paper, clean up the bores, and then we'll come back to fit in one. I've gone through and cleaned up all the bores. I'm going to install this one here. I like to put a bit of aviation former gasket in the bore. Then I'll let it tack off a little bit before I install the Welsh plug. I've just got brass Welsh plugs here. And then I like to find a socket, one that fits the OD so you can tap it in, and then one slightly bigger so it's a bit easier to tap in to get it started. These have a leading chamfer on them, so it's easy to start these, and we're just going to knock it past that chamfer. And then that's where it'll be seated. So let's get it started, figure out where you need to hit it. You definitely do want to try and keep them square. They go in a lot easier when they are square. So that's starting to square it up. About it, just knock it past that lip, that chamfer, ensure that it's square, and that'll be enough. So I've got all the Welsh plugs in on this side, and then I changed this side out as well. 2 for the cooling passages, and then the 2 oil gallery ones. What I'm going to do now is just refit the disc out to get that out to do that Welsh plug. So I've got it on top dead center compression stroke, so both valves closed and firing. So top dead center, and then I'll drop this in with the rotor pointing to the #1 spark plug lead on the cap. So I'll do that now. So my seal kit has came for the timing cover. Pretty much includes everything, even has a water pump gasket. So we're going to go through now and throw that in. First thing I'm going to do is drop the oil. Obviously the sump needs to come off, and then we need to modify the sump for the turbo oil drain anyway. So that's got to come off. Balance has got to come off as well. So I'll drop the oil first, then we'll rip the balancer, and then we've got to remove the tensioner. How dirty this is. Oh, she black. She black, boy. Yeah, she smell not too bad. Doesn't smell too bad, really. Alright, to remove these balancers, need to remove the main bolt, which is just a 22mm socket. Just leave the bolt in when you start pulling, just a few threads in, so you're not up against the shaft. You thread in your shaft, and then you're just going to go your puller and your bolts. I'm going to go through now and quickly chuck these in, set it. So to make sure you don't push your bolt too far through as well. Central. Find your pulling stud. get your socket, which you probably shouldn't use an impact gun. And as long as it's coming, which you can see it move, you know you're good. So we'll just go until it picks up on that washer. So I've just removed the washer from the bolt. I'm going to keep pulling it again, just gently. Like that. There you go, she's off. Bolt's out for the sump. Just going to try and drop it down now. How did I miss that one? Where is it? Right there. That'll do it. That's how you get it out, is you take all the bolts out. Sitting down there, I've marked where I need to drill that hole and put that bund in. So what I've done now, I need to remove the tensioner. So I've taken the cap off and I've just got a 3mm Allen key. I'm just going to slide it in here. You find a little hole, and then I'm just going to twist it clockwise. You hit click, that's disengaged. So now I should be able to wind this out without correct tooling and remove the tensioner. Fighting, just get your long nose pliers and work this tensioner out without dropping it and let it explode everywhere. Start working this off. Like so. This off, I've now just got to go through and I'll go through and just clean everything up. So I've got the timing cover surfaces all cleaned up. Just used a scraper and then a bit of Scotch-Brite. So I need to punch this lip seal out and then I'll knock the new one in. I've had to actually go buy a new gasket kit because the other one that I brought had the different gasket to suit where this doesn't have the recess in there. So I had to go buy one that was correct for it. Normally they, I don't know, the ones I bought before, normally they come with both gaskets for alternatives, but not today. What I'm going to do quickly is just change my idler pulleys. These ones are demi, well, the bearings are worn in them. Don't know how well you're going to hear it. Down there's a bit tight anyway. So I'm changing these out. Got a set here. I'm going to chuck this on because I want to use this to push down. Oh, there's noisy. Just to push down on the timing chain cover. So we will get these changed now. I shouldn't have to take them. I might have to take them back off, but I shouldn't have to. But I guess we're going to see. I get these on, and then I can get forward into putting this cover back on. I've got the new lip seal in around the timing cover. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use some aviation sealant on pretty much the flange faces, and then I'm going to use some ultra black gasket maker for just the top rubber in the corners on each side, and that should pretty much do it. I'll chuck some of this. I'm going to put that bottom chain guide back in. I'm going to try and glue it a little bit to the cover, so I'll use that as well. Really, because I'm in here, I should be changing the chain and the guides, but I'm clearly not going to, so it is what it is. So I'm just going to get a hook in now, run a bit in the corner. Through this guide, which see right now wasn't actually too bad. And everywhere. Let's see how hard and difficult this wants to be to get on. Is just put this belt tensioner on as well, just to hold these top two in. We'll do that now. Just use some dirty old oil on this tensioner. Slot it back in. Make sure it lines up properly. So you got a new O-ring on here. And then I've also just cleaned out the oil filter restrictor. Tensioner retainer back in there. You just grab your 3mm Allen key and reset the tension. So anti-clockwise should do it. Like that, and then we'll just double check. We'll lock it back up. Go, and she popped out, so just tighten that down as well. I've tightened all the bolts up and I've just ended up torquing them as well. Put the power steering bracket back on as well for there. What I'm going to do now is I've just grabbed the other sump off the other motor. I've marked my hole that I need to drill to put my dash 10 return in, so it's going to go roughly about there, and it should line up with the main cap. So I'm going to go through now and I'll just drill this, and then I will TIG weld this on, and then I will flip the motor over and clean up the gasket surface on the block, double clean the sump out, just wipe it out, and then chuck this on. So this weld on fitting has a step in it, and that step from here to here is 20mm, so the OD of the step. So we're going to drill this hole out to 20mm so it just sits in there. I do have a step drill bit that I'm going to use, but the start of it's pretty worn, so I'm just going to belt a couple different sides drill bits through here first. End up getting through my hole. This step drill pretty much shat itself. I wouldn't go past 16mm, so I end up just using the die grinder just to make the hole bigger for this to drop down into, like that. So now I'm just going to go through and I will just weld the outside and then I'll wash the inside in because it's double skinned. Hopefully there's not too much between the skins and cause me any issues, but we're about to find out. I've just flipped the block over just to clean up the gasket surface, just so it's a bit easier to do than trying to hold it up and get it all in line. Pretty much the front's clean when I pulled this off. Just got to clean the rest of it up, and then one of the gaskets for the timing cover is sitting a bit low, so I'll trim that up as well. But yeah, I'll clean this up now, and then throw that sump on, which is just outside, giving that a quick $2.50 rebuild, just with a bit of fiddly bits black. No prep, no nothing, so that'll just wash off if you hit it. I did give it a rinse out with a bit of degreaser and a bit of water after I did that die grinding, because it got filings all through it. So I gave that a hose out, that's drying, and I hit it with some paint, so by the time I hopefully get this off, that's dried. It's about 10 degrees, so I don't think that's going to happen, but I might just put some fingerprints in it anyway. I'll get this gasket off and then we'll get the sump on. Cleaned right up, used a scraper to get most of it off, and then went through with the Scotch Brite and then just scrubbed it back a little bit, shined it right up, just the maroon stuff. and then hit it with a bit of brake clean, ragged it, wiped it down. Pretty happy with that. The gaskets I have are, it's a paper gasket with the 2 rubber moons. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a light coat of aviation sealant, same as the timing chain cover gasket pretty much, on this surface. Down around here, RTV down in each corner. Same up the front. But here where we've got the joint of the casings, I'm going to put some RTV down through here as well. Just because the aviation's not going to take that up. And then I will do the other side, I'll coat the other side as well with aviation. Just a light coat. Dumps back on, all tightened down. Shittest paint job in the world, but tied it up a tiny bit. Just got to flip it back now and then continue on. I do want to put the water pump on. I've got to clean up the head surface for the manifolds, so I'll get it back over and then we'll go from there. Water pump on, alternator bracket, alternator, engine mounts with supports. We're all back on now, progressing a fair bit. What I'm going to do now is put the harmonic balancer on. I end up going and get a new one. I did want to use the old one to save a bit of money, but it's all the rubber on the inside's very brittle, and you pick it and it's breaking away and it's bulging out. So better off just to throw a new one in while we're here. Get a bigger bolt to pull it in with. So I'll set it up now, put a bit of sealant and a bit of oil on it, and we'll try and drag this in. Line your key up with the slot in the balancer, and then go on a certain distance and then get tight. That's when it starts getting interference. There is tools designed to pull these on, but we'll give it a go with this bolt with plenty of thread on it. Right, then it gets to a point where it wants to start turning to pull it in, which, oh yeah, we should be there. See how we go, see how tight it wants to feel. Yeah, so we need to put a pry bar in, stop it from spinning. Look for good luck. We're done, 135 Newton meters. Show you how I held it. Just my pry bar rested up against the engine stand itself, just against 2 bolts, so it's a bit dark down there. And then yeah, shoved it in and it levered with it. 135 is not too tight, so it's pretty easy to hold. In here, this is where the factory oil sender pickup sensor lives. What I'm going to do is I've got this SAS adapter here, so it is a 1/4 inch thread down here to a 1/4 inch thread here, so the factory sensor can thread into it, and then you've got a 1/8 thread up the top here, and then I've just put the nipple in, and then I've got this little contraption here. It's coming out together. This will be, the top will be the oil feed to the turbo, and then this side one, it's got another hole in here down the side here, and that's where I'm going to put just a mechanical oil pressure gauge as well. So I've got 2 gauges. Obviously that one there is pretty much just a light of an accurate gauge here that we can just see exactly what oil pressure we've got. Hopefully it goes back in there. Hopefully when we put it in and I thread it all in, because we're so far out, it fits without hitting on the manifold or anything that's going to run through. I'm just going to chuck the manifold on now. I have cleaned the head surface behind that gasket. It's not too bad, but it's not great either. If this head was to come off, you would definitely get it machined and skimmed. I've put BFFG exhaust studs in there as well. RTV, copper RTV on this side because it is pitted a bit, and the other side's dry. Go you dog. A bit tight. It's alright. Okay, manifold's on, torqued up, so that means we've got to test fit the Wuhan wall whistle. I know we're on the wrong side for the filming, but we'll chuck this on quickly and we'll have a quick look. I'll grab these and we'll have a quick look. Cool. Grab yours. The Wuhan wall whistle is on. Just sitting there for now. One bolt in there. I haven't got the intake manifold on yet, but we'll get there. We're just doing a little test fit. Have a gaze. We were pretty close. Doesn't sit too high. I thought it was going to be too high. It's not actually that high at all. So you can't complain really with that. But there we go. That's how she looks. Yeah, I need to get proper studs for it as well, or bolts. I got a gasket for it. Just yeah, need to sort out the stud size for it. But yeah, pretty happy with that. It's starting to really come together now. There's not too much left to do, and pretty much just this inlet manifold, and then it can almost come off the stand. Without the harness, plugged it into the coil, oil pressure sensor. Gonna throw the intake manifold now and then start bolt that down, then feed all the coil plugs back up and through, and all the wiring, run it where it needs to go and plug it into the plugs that it needs to meet. So I'll get that in now. I've just got all the faces cleaned up, even for the throttle body. I've also blanked off that port there. I made my own gaskets just with some gasket paper. So I'm going to go through now and just fit all this up, and then we'll get this onto the head. Manifold's on, all tightened up. Just have to take this bolt here off for the lifting bracket. Fed the harness back through, the leads back through, connected all the cables underneath that need to go to their homes. That's all done. Same around here, Dizzy back, TPS in there as well. What I've done now is I've just made a gasket for the lower thermostat housing. I just traced it out and then cut it out with some scissors and used a wad punch for the holes. Fits pretty well, not too bad. Gonna put some aviation sealant on both sides of that. Gonna throw that in now. I'll take that bolt out, throw it in, put the lifting bracket on as well, and then the lower thermostat housing on. This normally has this temp sensor going here, like so. Wiring goes in like so as well. I'm going to use this position to get my coolant feed, water feed for the turbo. So I've got a 3/8 to 3/8 nipple. It's going to go in there, and then I've got a 3/8 three-way T equal, and that's going to go in on that, and then this will screw in wherever I'm going to end up putting it. It'll probably end up going somewhere about here, and then on this other side I'll get a 90-degree 3/8 to AN6 male, and that'll be the feed line back down under up through to the turbo. And also I've still got to put the thermostat in and the top of the housing in, but other than that we are not far off to get this off the stand. Obviously need injector still, so I'll let the fuel roll off. Couple vac hoses for the bottom. There's two ports. I think one's for the factory map sensor, and then I think one was for, maybe is it the charcoal canister, something like that. And then also I've got the this cooling hose steel pipe to go in. I need to put the hose on, and then I also need to get a new heater valve as well. Other than that, that's pretty much it to get it in the car. Still a lot more fittings and hoses
for the oil feed and coolant return. But yeah, I don't need that at the moment to get it in. I can just get this in once. Don't even need to do this. I can do it later. I'm going to do it now, just so it's a bit easier. And then yeah, I'll get this off the stand, and then we'll look at the rear main seal. Got to do the rear housing seal on the gearbox, and then I've got the new clutch to go in as well. But yeah, I'll throw this in, and then we will get this off the stand. So I'm going to wrap the video up here. I did want to get this in the car in this episode, but that isn't going to be happening now. I have changed my mind. The oil feed line for the turbo, I want to do that before I get it in the car. Just the access underneath, I want to do it before I get this in, just to make it a bit easier. And I'm also waiting on a coolant hose. I've bought these parts, but I'm now waiting on the Australian post. So this will wrap the video up for now. There's still plenty to do, plenty to cover. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time in the shed.